Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's RSS webinar, jointly hosted by CABE and the RPSA. I'm Richard Harrall, the Chief Executive of the Chartered Association of Building Engineers. I'm delighted to say that I'm joined today by Andrew McColl and Amanda Ducasse from RPSA, and we're going to be talking about CABE's new residential surveying section. I'm going to hand over to Andrew for a brief introduction, and then we'll start talking through the origins and the purpose of the RSS. So Andrew, please take it away.
Thank you, Richard. I'm Andrew McColl. I'm the chairman of the RPSA, and a very warm welcome today to this webinar. The first thing I do want to say, actually, before we get into it, is the RPSA is not merging. It's not being taken over. It is not disappearing in any way, shape, or form. This is about us creating a pathway for members to achieve chartered status. There will be plenty of time for Q&A after Richard's presentation on this. So thank you, Richard. Over to you.
Thank you, Andrew. If you do have questions, please put them into the question and answer slot at the bottom, and we'll come to that at the end of the session. So, as Andrew said, we're going to be talking about CABE's Residential Surveying Section, which is one in a number of specialist certifications or assessments that we undertake for different purposes. CABE is a multidisciplinary body. We've always had a very broad membership. We originally the Incorporated Association of Architects and Surveyors, but we have technical specialists working across the entire life cycle of the building. We were formed in 1925 as the Incorporated Association of Architects and Surveyors. Our new headquarters were established in Northampton in 1978. We became the Association of Building Engineers in 1993 and obtained our Royal Charter in 2013. In 2020, we achieved licence status with oversight by the Engineering Council, and we are the UK's, I think, youngest professional engineering institute. That means that this is our centenary year, and that's a great milestone in which to launch a whole series of new projects intended to improve the delivery of public outcomes in the public interest. I mentioned that CABE is a multidisciplinary body. For those who aren't aware of the range of expertise we have within our membership, our big building blocks are around surveying, operations, maintenance, consulting, engineering, and building control. But we also have substantial membership in construction and design, and a number of highly specialised and highly technically competent members in specialist surveying, health and safety, fire safety, and other related professions. What binds everyone together is dedicated technical competence in the areas that they work. We have a range of membership grades, and we'll talk about those in a moment. But the majority of our members are chartered building engineers or chartered fellows, with an increasing number of chartered members, with that grade having been introduced into the membership structure in 2019. We are focused very, very much on promoting competence in the built environment. We're interested in new ways to provide assessments and accreditations where appropriate for our members and others who want to join our membership, so that they can demonstrate their competence in the areas that they practice. There are 5 pillars, effectively, to the processes we follow. Setting the right standards that are relevant and measurable so that we can assess people to understand their competence. And those are built around the building blocks of competence: skills, knowledge, experience, and behaviours. Robust assessment processes that help us to measure that competence across a range of metrics. A system that supports continuing professional development based on good competence-based practice, so annual self-evaluation and gap analysis, personal development planning, and executing training and development plans with real meaning. Over time, we want to look at management of organisations to ensure that they create the right frameworks and are run in a way that enables competent professionals to deliver the right outcomes. And we always are interested in seeking external and third-party oversight. whether that's through our ISO 9001 accreditation, Royal Charter, or Engineering Council membership. Fundamental to all of the things that we do is the CABE competence framework, which was updated in 2023 and incorporates BS 8670 criteria. And that's supported by our Code of Professional Conduct, which we would urge everyone joining membership to become familiar with, both as a tool and in order to be aware of the expectations that we have of our members, which I'll discuss later. And that's supported by our Guide to Ethical Professionalism. We like to think that we're leading, or at least working with leaders on competence in the built environment. We think that competence should be at the heart of everything that we do as an organisation. And the development of the residential surveying section is very much about evolution, not revolution, building on the strong foundations that already exist within our membership. And there are three areas where we tend to focus. Firstly, providing the public with confidence in the individual competence of our members. And again, that's delivered through robust competence frameworks, competence-based assessment schemes, and a safety-focused culture. An improved competence management system and training offer. So we will always work to help our members mainstream competence management practice into their professional lives. Look at an annual cycle that helps deliver continuous development and a move over time for some of our specialist areas to periodic revalidation. To support that, we are moving to a new membership model where our grades of membership provide a general evidence of competence as a building engineer, but with more specialist assessments showing that people in our membership really do have genuine competence in specialist areas of activity. We refer to these as additional registrations or additional assessments, and we'll continue to develop more of these over time to give our members the tools they need to demonstrate to clients and regulators and others that they are fit for purpose to do the job. Our general membership structure starts at student level with technician, associate and graduate levels of membership. These are non-chartered levels of membership and seen generally as developmental grades, where professionals can join the association and benefit from many aspects of the association's activities whilst they prepare to apply for chartered membership. Our lowest grade of chartered membership is MCABE, chartered member. We also have a chartered building engineer grade, and then for the most senior leaders and professionals in the association, our fellowship grade. Historically, we've always offered additional registrations, or at least over the last decade, with Society for the Environment, but also registration with Engineering Council as an engineering technician, incorporated engineer, or chartered engineer. As I say, our Engineering Council registration is really important to us. It's quite recent, but we have an increasing number of members who utilise that accreditation and registration to demonstrate higher levels of competence. We're the only professional body approved by the Building Safety Regulator to assess competence and certify competence of building inspectors through our CBICUS scheme, and where we've learned a great deal about setting up and running assessment processes that beyond our fundamental membership grades. We also have a license to assess people for higher risk building registration, which is again available at a technician, incorporated engineer and chartered engineering level. And we'll be increasingly promoting adoption of these assessment processes for members working on HRBs over the coming months. And as I said before, we also have registration for SOC-N. Now, this is by way of being clear that the Residential Surveyor Section, whilst it's our first specialist section, is one of a number of specialist processes we have in place, which are designed to provide the public and clients and regulators with that additional competence. The Residential Surveying Section will be open to existing CABE members, and for non-members, there will also be routes to entry into both membership and to join the Residential Surveying Section itself. What is a specialist section? So our Royal Charter enables us to form, from time to time, specialist sections within our membership. These sections have to be approved by the board. The residential surveying section is the first of these specific types, and it enables us to set bespoke entry criteria and to tailor our competence framework to the particular vocational activity within that section. We've established this for a number of reasons. As you will have seen earlier in the presentation, CABE has always had a close link to the surveying community. We were established as the Incorporated Association of Architects and Surveyors, and a significant proportion of our membership actively work as surveyors today. The RSS gives us the ability to assess their specific competence to a new standard. We want to set a benchmark that is trusted for residential surveyors, and the development pathway that can support more people to provide the workforce that's desperately needed, particularly in the social housing sector, but across the residential sector as a whole. We believe it will help to deliver better standards of safety and welfare, and ultimately we want the section to be recognised as providing a high standard in residential surveying capacity. The aim is therefore to set robust good practice standards for competence of residential surveyors linked to grades of chartered membership, to apply robust assessment processes in assessing the competence of residential surveyors so the market can have confidence in professional standing, to provide a longer-term development framework for career development for residential surveyors supported by robust standards of CPD and competence management, and to provide consumers and clients with a route of recourse or complaint where professional standards are not met. There will be 3 levels of membership in the residential surveying section. So a building engineer, residential surveyor, which is a grade pegged to our member Chartered Association of Building Engineers, so our chartered status. It permits use of the MK post-nominals, requires 3 years of experience, and provides access to the full range of CABE member benefits. Need to be very clear that you would be a chartered building engineer who has undertaken an assessment as a residential surveyor. The second grade down is building engineer associate residential surveyor, which is pegged to the associate or ACABE membership grade, and it's not a fully chartered grade. It permits use of the ACABE post-nominals, requires 2 years of experience, and again provides full access to CABE member benefits. The building engineer technician residential surveyor is pegged to the technician or TCABE membership and is not a fully chartered grade. Uses the TCABE post-nominal, requires 1 year of experience, and provides access again to the full range of member benefits. Each grade of membership can be obtained through prescribed standards of competence based assessment, taking into account a combination of qualifications, experience, and evidence of practical application. There are 4 main routes into the membership of the residential surveying section. For both CABE and non-CABE members, there's direct entry through accredited qualification routes, so qualifications where we have assessed with our Membership and Professional Standards Committee that there is an integral assessment of competence in a qualification or training route, and I'll explain what that is in a moment. For existing CABE members, there's a qualification-based route and an experience-based route. For non-CABE members seeking associate or technician surveyor membership, we recommend they join membership at ACABE or TechCABE through the normal membership application process, and then follow the guidance that we will be issuing as to how they can access residential surveying section. And for non-CABE members seeking joint MCABE and residential surveyor status, they'll need to go through a full application process to demonstrate minimum entry criteria through a joint CABE and RSS application process. So direct entry, for those who have passed the SAVA Level 6 diploma in residential surveying and valuation and have 2 years of relevant experience, or the SAVA Level 6 diploma in residential surveying and 2 years of relevant experience, or the home inspector qualification plus 3 years relevant experience within the last 5 years. Now, that last qualification will be recognised only for the first 6 months. It's quite an old qualification and we want to give it some due regard, but we don't intend to recognise that in the longer term. So for existing CABE members, what's the qualification route involve? Eligibility for technician is a level 4 HNC in building surveying and 2 years experience. This is the qualification-based route. There are other ways of accessing membership of the RSS. For associate residential surveyor, it's either a level 5 HND in building surveying and 2 years experience, or a level 4 HNC in building surveying with 3 years experience. And for MCABE, MCABE, CBILD, FCABE, or MRICS and FRICS, who are eligible to join through the qualification route. For the residential surveyor, they need a level 6 degree in building surveying and a minimum of 2 years experience. For people who qualify as eligible through this route, they need 3 to 5 sample surveying reports, competence statements against the A and B competencies in the residential surveying framework. They do not require a competency report, but will be required to go through a professional interview. The experience route for existing CABE members requires technician residential surveyor requires 3 years experience. For associate residential surveyor membership, 4 years experience, and for residential surveyor access to the RSS, 5 years of experience. This is for existing CABE members who are already at the right grade of membership to get the equivalent RSS membership. In order to get access through the member experience route, they'll need to produce a competence report of 4,000 to 5,000 words on a residential surveyor section framework A and B competencies based on 3 case studies or projects, A to E competence statements of up to 200 words each, and 3 to 5 sample reports and professional review process will then be undertaken. For those non-members wishing to access MCABE membership and residential surveyor recognition as part of the RSS, they will need to have a level 6 qualification in building surveying and 2 years of experience, or 5 years relevant experience. They will need to go through an assessment process, which is a combination of the CABE membership process and assessment for RSS, against the RSS Residential Specialist Surveying bespoke competence framework that we've developed in collaboration with our advisory panel. They'll need to have a full submission of a competence report covering all the A to E competencies. So that's a technical report based on case studies and life career experience, full competence statements covering all of the competence statements in the framework, and then interview by a CABE panel, including a specialist surveyor. That's 2 panelists as a minimum. This is equivalent to the MCABE entry assessment for any non-surveying specialist, the primary difference being that it is against the bespoke residential surveying framework. So application and membership fees. The application fee for RSS membership is £60. Desktop review is somewhere between £110 and £155, depending on which level of membership of the RSS you are applying for. And the interview is between £150 and £175. For all of our specialist section, there is an additional fee to cover the additional registration and management costs of that section, which is £55 per year. And then membership fees, which are the same for everybody. This is not in addition to CABE membership fees. These are the CABE membership fees that would be applicable. For MCABE residential surveyors, it would be £334 a year. ACABE associate residential surveyors, £268, and TCABE residential surveyor technicians, £215. Please, worth noting that our membership fees are reviewed on the 1st of September each year, where our new financial year begins. Now, we're really keen to get the surveying section off to a good start, and we're offering a series of additional benefits for our PSA members looking to join CABE or the residential surveying section, which will be available for an initial 5-month period from the 1st of June 2025 and ending on the 1st of November 2025. This includes no administration or application fee. That will be funded very generously by the RPSA from their membership base. No additional first-year section membership fees, so no initial £55 membership fee. We will offer 17 months initial membership for the price of 12 and a 25% discount voucher for any assessment process that those new members require at the point of assessment after they've applied to join. These benefits will only be available for those who apply to join in the initial 5-month window. So any application received in that 5-month window will be eligible. The discount voucher will remain available in perpetuity if people need to take an assessment. When people come into membership, though, there are some expectations that go alongside that. To be a member of the section, the CABE membership criteria apply, and there are three things we'd really like to highlight within that. So, firstly, we have a very fair but robust complaints management process. We take conduct and professionalism extremely seriously, and we'd really urge all of those looking to come into membership or existing CABE members who haven't looked at the Code of Conduct and supporting guidance recently to refresh themselves as to that, and we'll be delivering a free webinar on the Code of Professional Conduct shortly. Continuing professional development is a really important part of being a professional, and we check 100% of our members' compliance with our annual reporting, our annual CPD reporting requirements. That's 35 hours per year of CPD, or 105 hours over 3 years, and that CPD needs to be recorded and logged on the CABE membership platform. We're procuring a new CPD recording platform which will allow members to much more accurately reflect how their CPD relates to the areas of competence most important to them, and we will also be able to incorporate reflective learning within that process. Finally, absolutely critical to all professional skill sets, it's important that members of CABE and members of the RSS work within the limits of their competence. So those coming into the RSS through a combined process will need to ensure that they work within the limits of competence that they're assessed against. That means if you want to expand your scope, you'll need to think about further training and development. But it's really important that everyone focuses on the services that they are competent to deliver and that their assessments cover. We are really excited about the potential for this section to help consumers and clients and regulators and others to differentiate between the best people in the market and those who maybe haven't got the confidence or competence to go through an assessment. But actually, it's the conduct of everyone, both within our membership and within the specialist section, that will determine how well respected this group is. So we will do everything we can to explain how we think our members can deliver their services to the highest standards, and we will work to support them to do so at all times. So key takeaways from the process. We want to set a benchmark standard for residential surveyors so that the good can differentiate themselves from the rest of the market. And we're really pleased to be able to launch this in June. It provides an option to obtain a fully chartered status. That status is a chartered building engineer with an associated assessment of competence as a residential surveyor. It provides a whole series of options for existing CABE members and non-CABE members through both qualification and experiential routes. And we have an initial offer that we think is a nice way of welcoming people into the section, and that's intended to help get the section off to a flying start, which is available for the first 5 months from launch on June 1st, so closing on November the 1st. And we would recommend people think about taking advantage of that offer as far as possible. In terms of assessment capacity, I just want to be very clear and manage expectations. For those who have a qualification that's recognised, the direct entry process will enable them to join both the RSS and CABE membership very quickly. It's a very smooth process based on evaluation of the evidence required. For those who need to go through an assessment to join, we will be building capacity in the first 12 months. So if your application is received in the first 5-month period, you'll benefit from the initial offer that we have. but it might take us a little while to build the capacity to take large numbers of people through if there is a big cohort of applications. That's because we will be training our assessors and building that assessment pool proportionately to the number of members who come into the section. So everyone who applies throughout the process will be treated on a first come, first served basis. So we always look to process people who are ready to go through assessment in the order in which they deliver the information we need. But in order to help grow our assessment pool, if applicants are prepared to act as assessors, to commit to acting assessors, and undertake 9 assessments in the first year of their membership, we will bring them towards the front of the queue to be assessed, so that we can also utilise their skills, having determined that they're competent to act as assessors. In terms of professional development, I just wanted to talk briefly about some of the other benefits of CABE membership, some of the things that we offer. We have procured and built a competence management system which supports self-assessment, gap analysis, professional and personal development planning, and linked to a database of accredited training and approved CPD activities. We'll be looking to integrate the Residential Surveyors framework into that system over time, but it's a great way to actually manage and evidence your competence and record that on an annual basis. We have an offer linked to BSI Knowledge for small firms or sole traders, where they can get access to all British standards, all 90,000 British, European and international standards in the BSI portfolio at significantly reduced rates. This is an online only access, but you can snip and clip information out of that database to your heart's content. And for 1 to 5 employees, the cost is £360 plus VAT per year. And for 6 to 10 employees, it's only £720 per year. And that's a tremendous option. We'd encourage people to take that up. CABE has a whole range of training courses which are discounted for our membership across a range of difficult critical areas, in particular fire safety, and we'll be looking to develop further gap filling and training in coordination with RPSA and other colleagues. We have free webinar Wednesdays, 1 or 2 free 1-hour CPD webinars every month. All of these then are put onto the CABE YouTube channel and available on demand. And they're really popular. We have a great lineup of technical relevant CPD free on a regular basis. We've introduced a new approval system for our CPD and micro learning, approved training and accreditations, and that will feed into our database of training and development activities in our competence management system. And we have a whole series of regional conferences, which will be accompanied by some national level conferences and online on-demand conferences from 2026. We have an excellent journal. The Building Engineer has a reputation that goes from strength to strength. There are 10 issues per year, and it's available both in hard copy but also online in a digital expanded version, which we are looking to build upon. And we have a tremendous CABE for Women network that does great work in building and encouraging networking and support for women in the construction and built environment industries. We have a CABE app, which we would recommend everyone take advantage of, and which gives you access to all of our services online. And it's a brilliant way to do CPD on the go, or record or access documents and the journal. And all CABE members benefit from access to the CABE Benevolent Fund in times where things go wrong. That can be pretty much any set of circumstances. I'm always impressed by the way in which the Benevolent Fund is able to transform people's lives in the hardest of times. So if you do have a need, please apply, and the Benevolent Fund will do everything it can to help. And that includes referral to free support for anxiety, stress, and anxiety-based depression through our relationship with Anxiety UK. Finally, access to our headquarters building in Northamptonshire. Lucian's house is available, but it's also somewhere that you can just call in for a coffee and say hi, and to meet the team if you are ever passing by. So that brings me to the end of our presentation. We'll be publishing further information, including the specific framework, in due course. Now, I'd be very happy to work with Andrew and Amanda to answer some questions. So, Kiri, would you like to give us the first question, and we will try and work out who's best placed to answer?
Of course. So, question number 1. Will CABE be providing surveying and/or valuation standards?
Okay, so I'll answer from my side, and then I'll hand over to either Andrew or Amanda. There's a distinct separation between the way that RPSA and CABE are going to work together. We're focused on the competence of the individual and managing that and supporting that competence over time. The RPSA is going to focus on the commercial activities, the standards that are needed for people to do that job, and that separation means there's no conflict of interest. There's no overlap in the way that the different standards are set for individuals or for the system. Andrew, is that about right? I think.
Yeah, yes, it is. But in respect of valuation, I mean, we've never really been in that market to give any kind of advice on guidance in valuation at all.
Yeah, and the assessment that we're looking at is a building surveying, if you like,
Yes,
focused competence assessment rather than a
yes,
valuation-based assessment.
yes, yes.
Amanda, you're on mute if you want to say anything.
Sorry, that would help. Yes, our ICS are the people who issue the valuation standards, and that doesn't change, and nobody is interfering in that arena. The RPSA have issued survey standards, recently updated and continuing, and so we provide the survey standards, and as always.
Fantastic. Kiri, next question, please.
Can you be a member of the RPSA without being a member of CABE?
Yes.
Yes, yes, nothing's changing. It's purely voluntary. We are offering a pathway for chartered status for RPSA members if they wish to do so. Some people don't wish to do so. We're not going anywhere. If anything, we have more energy, we are focused, we want to grow our organisation, we want to offer a lot more in the way of member benefits.
Yeah, if I could just add as well, I mean, we see this section as providing a way to re-qualify or to re-evidence for a lot of our existing membership, the specialist competence that they have. But it's very much open to members from RPSA and other organisations to access that framework as well. So RPSA is going to continue doing what it does. We'll collaborate over time, but this section is complementary to what RPSA membership does, rather than there being any mandatory link between the two memberships. Next question, please, Kiri.
Will we be bound by CABE standards and regulations or RPSAs?
Well, if you're members of both, you'll be required to comply with both sets of requirements. If you become a member of CABE, there are a series of conditions of membership. They're set out in the Code of Professional Conduct, which is downloadable from our website. That consists of two parts, a set of expected compliance requirements for members, which includes undertaking necessary CPD, reporting certain circumstances if they occur, and then a series of principles against which conduct is measured if a complaint is deemed serious enough for referral into the disciplinary process. So we would, anyone coming into the residential surveying section would be subject to all of exactly the same, no more and no less in terms of expectations than any other CABE member. Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, RPSA, we have our own code of conduct as well that we would expect you to adhere to if you're saying that you're an RPSA member. Yeah, CABE, to get into this section, chartered status, it's a different ball game. So the rules will have to be obeyed if you are a member of of the chartered section.
Great. Kiri.
Will CABE members be able to join the RPSA panel?
Yes, if they are a member of the RPSA.
Yes, I was going to say you have to be a member of the RPSA.
There's an assessment process, so there's still quality assurance to go through as well.
Yes, we'd welcome people from the RPSA to come and join RPSA. You're a different organisation, we do different things.
Yeah, next question, Kiri.
Are individuals with a master's degree in surveying and experience eligible for the direct route, even if they are not CABE members?
So the direct route is based upon a very select number of training programs that had integral competence assessments within their endpoint review process. Typically, I think I'm right about this, but I would recommend anyone who's interested gets in touch with our membership team who'll be able to look at their CV and qualifications and confirm it. But in theory, if you've got a master's degree, unless it's one of the recognised direct entry qualifications, there will be an assessment process, but that will vary depending on whether you're an existing CABE member, a new CABE member, and what level of existing CABE membership or other evidence you have. So a master's degree in itself is evidence of learning and understanding. We need everyone coming into the section to have undergone a competence-based assessment, which combines with their career experience and capability. I don't know if Andrew, I don't know if Amanda.
Well, I think it's a very important point. You can have a master's degree in building surveying, but it doesn't mean that you're a building surveyor or a practicing building surveyor. So submitting reports and checking it is going to get if you and then you are in the RSS. It shows that you are what you are meant to be, and we're not relying on just a piece of paper saying what you're meant to be. If that makes sense. Tripping over
absolutely. So competence-based assessments are intended to evaluate skills, knowledge, experience, behaviour against a series of expectations that show that you can do the job. It's not just that you've done the learning. Now, that doesn't in any way devalue a master's in building surveying, but it's the combination of all those factors that allows us to look at providing some assurance to the market and to the public as to whether someone's competent. Kiri.
This one is possibly in a similar vein, but somebody has asked, what is the process if you cannot find your original HIT qualification certificate?
HIT, Andrew, Amanda, you may need support.
Well, if you were a member of the RPSA, that's something that would have been produced at some point, and maybe we can find that. Contact us, and we'll see what we can do to trace if need be.
Yeah, and our membership team is available at the end of the phone or by email, but they're there to kind of help walk you through these processes. They're very experienced in helping people assemble the evidence that's needed. They know the options that there are in that respect. So if you have got a question about whether you're eligible or not, in fact, for virtually everyone looking to join, we would recommend that they look at getting in touch with the membership team and starting to check which route is going to be most appropriate for them. Kiri.
So, will product, i.e. CABE report templates, be made available, and will certain products be limited to membership level, i.e. level 3 type reports, only produced by chartered members of RSS?
We are focused on attesting to the individual's competence. We're not, as CABE, we are not going to start producing report structures or developing the standards that systems are assessed against. Our focus is on the individual's capability and then their through career competence and conduct. The RPSA will produce some assets, but I'll hand over to Amanda to kind of confirm how that relates to the question that's been asked.
Yeah, the reporting of surveyors have always been free to choose their separate reporting templates, whether it's a Go Report, Skyline. Some people still do them in Word. So we don't provide the survey templates as the RPSA. Everybody uses third party. We provide survey standards, and we can certainly assist our members with things like complaints procedures. We have a great complaints procedure currently and support for people going through that. But supplying reporting templates is individual, and you're free to choose whichever third party provider you choose.
In fact, one of the software providers has very kindly said that they will give free access, student access to their report writing software if needed for submitting evidence.
Okay, I'm going to say that that's questions done. If people want to get in touch with the CABE membership team, the email is membership@cbuild.com. Very straightforward, membership@cbuild.com. Look on our website, you'll find all of the other contact details if you want to phone and get in touch. Our membership team will be more than happy to help. This process will be launched on 1st of June. The process or application process will be open on the 1st of June. And this webinar will be available on demand from our YouTube page, and also a link across, obviously, from RPSA. So I think all that remains for me to do is to say thank you very much to Andrew. Thank you very much to Amanda. I think this is a very interesting moment. I think this is the start of something that has huge social value as well as value to industry professionals. And we look forward to working with RPSA members who are interested over the coming months and years. So thank you very much, and we will bring the webinar to an end at that point. So thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.